But the Iranian regime locks up political prisoners, it tortures people, and you've supported these people.
There is so much also misunderstanding about Iran.
Is that all lies? But you've said that you've been friends with the past 3 Iranian presidents for the last 37 years. It says here you were friends with one of the Ayatollahs. And again, this Ayatollah is responsible for funding terror, arresting thousands of political dissidents and allowing physical and psychological torture of prisoners.
No, and you know, like Mr. Khatami, he is the one who initiated the dialogue of civilizations in United Nations. Mr. Rouhani, Dr. Rouhani, the same thing. Yeah, Rouhani, the same thing.
He's the same man who's been funding billions of dollars to Hezbollah.
No, you see, Hezbollah never attacked Israel and occupying the Israelis. Hezbollah didn't even exist.
Sends rockets to Israeli civilians and kills many Israeli civilians who did nothing wrong.
They never initiated, though. It was not initiated. Like who?
But
like
how can
in
you
case.
Justify that?
You know, no, it's not justifying. No, I'm not justifying anything. You know, but
sounds like you are.
But
do you support the death penalty for apostasy?
You know, that is a controversial issue.
But do you support it?
You know,
just yes or no?
Look, you know.
But with respect, you're not answering my question. You know, do you support the death penalty for apostasy?
So, Steve, looks like you have a mission here today, right?
I have no mission. I have no mission. I'm here as a journalist to hold people to account.
I hope you are not from one of those Islamophobia organizations, right?
No, I don't think we are. We're not Islamophobic at all. We're just trying to hold people to account. One of the recent controversies around Dearborn was this rally just 10 minutes away where a couple of people were chanting death to America. What do you make of that chant?
No, actually, that was not representing really what Dearborn. I was one of those who opposed that slogan, which was really just one time and like a few individuals probably.
Have you spoken to them?
Yes, I spoke to one person that I saw in the video, and I talked with that person that really we are for life, and we are for love, and we are for peace. Yeah, we are frustrated with American foreign policies, but that doesn't mean that we choose this kind of a slogan. We want to give life to America. We want to correct whatever we can correct. We want to bless America, to keep America beautiful, keep America great in the values and integrity, to put America and American Constitution first. Not to put Israel before America, and not to put, the selfish policies of people like Netanyahu before American values.
You talk about American values of freedom and freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and so on. But of course, in many areas in the Middle East, these values aren't applied, unfortunately, yes. Democratic values and so on. Right. Particularly in Iran, women are lashed if they don't wear the correct headwear. We know that they faced severe punishment. Political prisoners, again, the same thing in Iran. And the Iranian regime in the last 10, 15 years have been supporting various terrorist groups like Hezbollah, funding billions of dollars into those groups. And you say you support American values, yet at the same time you have also supported some Iranian presidents. You've said on your website you admire the ethical character and moral values of one of the previous Iranian presidents. You also talk about on your Facebook page praising the former Ayatollah of Iran as a great hero, a shining star in the sky of wisdom. And you've also again praised other Iranian Ayatollahs on your website and in sermons here, according to your website. So how do you square that contradiction? You support American values of freedom, yet at the same time you're supporting those Iranian leaders and presidents.
So much of things, though, we hear about Iran, as we have Islamophobia, unfortunately there is Iranophobia as well. There is Shiaphobia as well. So a lot of this stuff that we hear about Iran, that's not true either. So I don't believe on this propaganda of the extremism here. They talk about Iran.
So they don't fund Hezbollah?
Iran itself is victim of terrorism as well. If you look at the 8 years war that Saddam Hussein imposed a war on Iran, And at that time, unfortunately, United States and Europe, they were supporting Saddam Hussein. Even using chemical weapon, they supported Saddam Hussein. So many people were killed with Mujahideen Khalq, for example, in Iran, that, after revolution, there are a lot of religious leaders that they were killed in the mosque while they were praying.
But the Iranian regime locks up political prisoners, it tortures people, it lashes women for not wearing the right headscarf, and it funds billions of dollars to Hezbollah and terrorist regimes. So, and you've supported these people, you've openly made these comments that I suggest.
I'm saying that there is so much also misunderstanding about Iran.
Is that all lies?
There are lots of lies all over. You see it, in the politics in the United States, you see it in the Middle East, and there are so much propaganda. So we have to case. Well, nobody is perfect, I'm not saying that Iran is perfect. United States is not perfect. No, there is no perfection anywhere.
But let's take it case by case. What about the women who are forced to wear the hijab and forced to wear the niqab, and if they don't, for example, one case earlier this year, a woman got 74 lashes for not doing that. Do you agree? Do you support that?
I don't know about that, and I don't agree with that. But the point is that what about freedom of women, Muslim women here in the United States or in France? That now, like legally in France, a Muslim woman cannot have hijab in certain places, certain universities and public places. So if you are talking about freedom of dress, so you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You cannot practice hypocrisy and double standard, talk about freedom of women, but you want the women have freedom only in Iran. What about freedom of women in France? What about freedom of women? We have had cases here in the United States that the Muslim girls, they were fired because of their hijab. So yeah, I believe in freedom, but I don't believe in double standard.
Do you support the Iranian regime?
You put it, there are disagreements. Not everybody, I don't agree with everything, no. It's not like an black and white thing, There are certain things that I agree, there are certain things that I disagree. I disagree with extremism, no matter where.
But you've said that you've been friends with the past 3 Iranian presidents for the last 37 years. It says here you were friends with one of the ayatollahs. And again, this ayatollah is responsible for funding terror, arresting thousands of political dissidents and allowing physical and psychological torture of prisoners.
No, like Mr. Khatami, that's the president I support, that he is the one who initiated the dialogue of civilizations in United Nations. He is appreciated. As a matter of fact, he has so much opposition inside Iran because of his ideas of, he is a peacemaker. He is the one who initiated this dialogue of civilizations in the world, and United Nations recognize Mr. Khatami's position on peace. Mr. Rouhani, Dr. Rouhani, the same thing. Yeah, Rouhani, the same thing.
But he's the same man who's been funding billions of dollars to Hezbollah.
No, you see...
Is that not true?
You see, he's a president, he's been president. I mean, the Hezbollah and Iran, that is something that is not this president or that president. President Rouhani was president for 8 years. Yes, Iran does support Lebanon and does support, the cause and Hezbollah. Yes, I mean there's nothing that they deny that they don't.
But why
they don't hide it?
Do you support that?
They don't hide the situation. So I'm saying that now you are talking about Hezbollah. So then we are talking about Israel. Hezbollah never attacked Israel and occupying the Israelis.
They do send rockets to Israel.
Territories, right? It was Israel who was occupying Lebanon, and they were defending, calling for freedom, liberation of their land. So I'm not saying that is not for me to support or not to support. I'm saying talking about the reality, right? Yeah. Talking about the reality of the situation. So we don't want to go just for the fake news and propaganda that's going on here and there of now there is a fight, of course, between Hezbollah and in Gaza, in Yemen, in Syria. There is a big mess over there. But what causes all this problem is occupation that's going on. I mean, if there is no, like for example, Hezbollah was created after Lebanon was invaded by Israel, you know, in 80s. Hezbollah didn't even exist.
Sends rockets to Israeli civilians and kills many Israeli civilians who did nothing wrong.
They never initiated, though. It was not initiated. Like who?
But
like
how can
in
you
case,
justify that?
You know, no, it's not justifying. No, I'm not justifying anything. You know, but
sounds like you are.
But who invaded like Sharon? That even President Reagan, he sent a warning to Sharon that stop it, get your forces out of Lebanon, or we'll stop sending your weapons. So I'm saying that nobody is bothering anybody. It is like occupation and invasion, whether now in Gaza or then in south of Lebanon. If they leave the people alone, nobody is fighting. I mean, Lebanon is looking for peace. Even Palestinian, even Hamas, they are asking for long ceasefire, right? If you remember, if you read that the Hamas leaders, they suggested to Israel to have 30 years of, you know, ceasefire or peace. But look,
it's the objective of Hamas, a stated objective to destroy Israel. The same thing with Iran.
I didn't hear that. Who said that? You know,
spokespeople for Hamas have said that, and Hamas went in and killed 1,200 Israeli
well, then,
civilians.
You know, there are case by case. Yeah, you have October 7. But now how many days we have? 200 and more than 200 days now. We are getting to 8 months now, right? So we are focusing on one day, and we forget about 75 years of all of this. I mean, go through the things that United Nations. Yesterday, they set the fire on the headquarters of United Nations in Jerusalem. I mean, they are not Hamas, right? So, so much of fake news that they are saying all these American students who are protesting against genocide in Gaza, they are Hamas. No, they are not Hamas. It's not about Hamas. And Israel is talking about Hamas. I mean, look at this. Look at the reports of United Nations. 360,000 houses were either totally destroyed or damaged in Gaza. Are you saying all of them are Hamas? No. So it's not about Hamas. It's not about, you know, self-defense. It's not about existence of Israel. They are doing a genocide.
Let's talk about the content on your own website here at the Islamic House of Wisdom. You say you support American values of freedom and so on.
Yes.
The web archives on your library page, as seen in July, encourage readers to go to resources advocating for the subjugation of the world under Islam, fighting Jews and Christians, upholding martyrdom as a Shiite goal, denigrating women and prescribing the death penalty for apostasy. One article offered information about
against
jihad.
All of this.
But hold on,
these are nonsense.
This is directly from your website.
No, it's not our website, no.
But your website is encouraging people to read these resources. Let me quote. It is these people of the book whom we are to fight until we pay the tribute, jihaza. When they have humbled themselves before us and submit to paying jihaza, the tribute, we are to fight no more. That's a direct link, a direct quote from a resource published on your website or advocated on your website.
I don't know how. I never saw that in our website, and we never put such a thing. Now,
why
when you go to the website, maybe somebody, you know, linked to something. I don't know. As a matter of fact, if I know such a thing in our website, I would delete that. I have no idea if there was such a thing, but I'm personally against it. And I would be the first one to delete this kind of thing.
How do you think
But you know, online, you have all of this thing online. Doesn't mean that it represents House of Wisdom. Maybe somebody put that, you know, link in our website somehow by mistake. But is it still there?
It's been deleted.
Okay, then I'm glad that it's deleted, because if I knew that there is such a thing, we would delete it. We are against that.
Is it true that in the 1980s you served as the head of the political ideology for the Iranian Navy?
You know, it's not political. I know that after revolution, I used to give some lectures for everyone, and including the navies, you know, because it was a new thing, and, you know, they used to, they needed like religious, like the imams, the sheikhs, to go and give lecture about, moral issues and moral principles, moral values. And I used to give lecture for the navies, for everyone, for armed forces, for navies, for mosques, for people. I mean, we do it all the time. Here I do it. In America, if they invite me to go to, army and talk, I would go. If they invite me to go to the prisons, I go and I speak there.
You talk about moral values, but the Iranian regime, as I said earlier, has sort of gone after political dissidents.
You know why?
It locks up people, it tortures people,
Steve,
it lashes people.
You are talking about, I'm not representative of Iran. You're talking about,
you've worked for them.
I migrated to United States 34 years ago. Now you're talking about, I'm not ambassador for any country. I'm not Iranian ambassadors. And so, I'm talking about the Islamic world. Iran is like part of Islamic world.
You describe the Ayatollah as a great hero, a shining star in the sky of wisdom. You said that you've been friends with several Ayatollahs. These are the presidents of Iran. So how can you not say you don't support Iran?
I support. There are a lot of Ayatollahs. Ayatollah means like religious leaders. And still I do. No, they are not only in Iraq. There are Ayatollahs.
The ones in Iran.
There are Ayatollahs in Iraq. There are in all over United States. Ayatollah is a title of Shia Muslim religious scholar, religious leaders. So yeah, of course, I'm very proud of respecting Ayatollahs. I respect the popes. The Pope Francis, for example. I have good relationship with Archbishop of Detroit. We honor our religious leaders, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Christians, whether they are Jewish. There are a lot of Jews now, for example, in our interfaith, that they are against Israel. They are against this genocide in Gaza. So we are a people of faith. So people of faith, we deal with the faith issues. So it's not about Islam and Christianity, Judaism. We are talking about justice and injustice. We are talking about right and wrong.
Do you support the death penalty for apostasy?
That is a controversial issue. There is, even in this country, United States, this is a controversial issue, the capital punishment,
But this is for people who leave the religion. This isn't for people who commit crimes or commit murder.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about capital punishment for them.
That has been not only in Iran. Look,
but do you support it? Just yes or no?
Look, do you know that in the Quran we don't have the term of sayf, which is sword. In the Quran, we don't have the word sword even one time. Although in the Bible we have over 400 times talking about sword. That there are like stoning, for example. Do you know in Bible there are 18 cases that people can. If you don't listen to your father based on Old Testament, you should be stoned, right?
But with respect, you're not answering my question. Do you support the death penalty for apostasy? Do you support it? Yes or no?
Personally, no. Yeah, I personally, and there are so many now the Ayatollahs and the religious leaders that they don't support that. It's a very controversial issues among our scholars, right? It's very controversial, and especially in a modern time. But the point is that things getting abused, things getting abused. And so much of propaganda here, like fake news about...
I agree. Listen, I want to get your views on camera. That's why we're here to interview. We don't want propaganda.
Right,
so what do you think the punishment should be for apostasy?
We basically we believe la ikraha fi din, that there is no force in faith, right? I mean, like if you love your wife or girlfriend, you cannot, love is not something to force. Nobody can force you to love someone, right? The same thing about faith. So, and this is something in the Quran that you cannot force anybody to any religion, to be Christian, to be Jewish, to be Muslim. You cannot force people. They should use their logical, they do their investigation, and studies and to pick up the faith that makes sense, it's logical, it's responsible. So that is something we believe. But the point is that sometimes these conversions are more political. Someone does it just to make news and
so what should happen
use
to
and
them?
abuse.
What should happen to them if they converted from Islam to Christianity?
You know, the point is that, as I said, lakum dinukum waliya din. The Quran says, your religion is yours and mine is mine. You know, that should be something that people, they choose for themselves.
Just very quickly, on Joe Biden, what do you think about Biden?
What do you mean?
Do you support him? Will you vote for him in November? Do you think it's...
You know, I personally voted for him last time, but at this time I'm very disappointed of his unconditional support for this Holocaust in Gaza. Now recently he's talking, saying things, but we are looking for action. What we expect from President Biden is just not just lip service, but action. And the same thing about Trump. You know, in politics, unfortunately, this hypocrisy exists. Like yesterday, Trump was saying that Biden is abandoned Israel. And if you are Jewish, it's shame for you to vote for Biden. But that is also his hypocrisy. It's not just Biden problem. When Trump himself, just a while ago, just a couple of months ago, he told Netanyahu to end this war, finish it. We are looking for peace. We don't want war, right? He said it. And now he is complaining about Biden that why you don't give them whatever they want, then they can continue this genocide. You see, this is just like nonsense that as we are going through this election, that there are so much of this nonsense that we are going to hear.
Who do you think Muslims should vote for?
Really, that is a very challenging time for all of us. And still we have time for election. Things may develop. But at this time, people are disappointed. A lot of people, not just Muslim, non-Muslim, they don't want to vote for either of them. They don't want to vote for Biden nor Trump. So it's not only a Muslim issue in this country now. It is like a national issue. So for example, when we had uncommitted vote last time, like 100,000 in Michigan, as a matter of fact, majority of them were non-Muslims. So we are part of this nation. It's not about religion. It's about values, it's about justice, about truth. And it's about putting America first. We believe, and I was saying it in my khutbah. If you listen to khutbah, you can watch what I said today, that American values and image and interest and integrity should come first. We shouldn't put Israel before America. We shouldn't put Israel before our democracy. Unfortunately, what is going on now in Israel and Gaza is destroying our democracy here. What happened in universities, for example. And we hear these people of saying that, oh, these students, they are Hamas now. They are saying all they're Hamas. And this is what I was talking about, that this fake news is not about Hamas, not about self-defense, self-existence. It is about mess. It is about apartheid, it's racism, occupation, injustice. These are the issues.
It would be wrong if they supported Hamas, wouldn't it? The students, that is.
You know what you mean by Hamas? I'm saying that the
terrorist group.
The Israeli ambassador in United Nations, he was saying that these students in America, they are Hamas. I mean, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. I mean, over 150,000 people were killed or wounded in Gaza. Are they Hamas? No. All of these buildings. So they are just using the Hamas for their propaganda. Other than that, they were asking, the Israelis were asking Qatar and Egypt to force Hamas to negotiate to free the hostages. The moment that they said, we agree, then they turned away and they left Cairo and then they attacked Rafah. So they are lying. They don't care about Israeli hostages. They, like Netanyahu, doesn't care about all of these Jews been demonstrating for the last 7 months that get the deal, agree with the deal, so we can have our people back. They don't care. They don't care about, just they care about their garbage power and politics, nothing else. So Steve, looks like you have a mission here today, right?
I have no mission. I have no mission. I'm here as a journalist to hold people to account.
I hope you are not from one of those Islamophobia organizations.
Well, right? I don't think we are. We're not Islamophobic at all. We're just trying to hold people to account.